WUTK, or 90.3 The Rock, hosted the Exam Jam concert Friday at the Valerian. The Exam Jam was a benefit concert to raise money for the station in order to buy new equipment. Performing at the concert was The Idle Hand, Big Country's Empty Bottle, Faux Ferocious, J-Mo, After Party, Arpetrio, and Groove Troop, all of whom are local artists and bands. Doors opened at 7 p.m. and only a $5 minimum donation was required. WUTK is the University of Tennessee's college radio station. It provides students with real-world experience in the news and music industry.
Because it's student-run, we have a news team that's headed up by a journalism student. We have a music department that's headed up by somebody that wants to, go into music promotions and programming.
And contributes heavily to the local music scene.
Definitely. Thank you for pointing that out. That was one thing I wasn't thinking about, is how much local music we do play. And, we get, 25, 30 CDs a day of people, trying to put their music out there. And whatever percentage of that is local, we're going to try to spotlight a little more.
The Rock has been on air for over 27 years now, and has been voted Knoxville's best radio station for the past 4 years, and is going for a 5th. Unfortunately,
don't get additional funding from the university. Everything that this station makes, it is truly and honestly a business down here. And the university doesn't really do anything to help that. I think we sort of help ourselves. And the way we help ourselves is because it's a business, whatever we sell or whatever we underwrite directly goes to paying salaries and paying to keep the station running.
Members of the WUTK staff team decided to throw a benefit concert in order to try and raise money to buy new equipment for the station. Most of the technology and computers are out of date and in need of repair.
From the university, we get space because, it's viewed as a classroom as such. We get that. All of our DJs are volunteers, or if they get federal money to work here, which is great. And so anything else, new computers, updating our mixers, updating just any of our equipment, our news equipment, and being able to be a little more competitive with the other college radio stations and other radio stations in town requires a lot more money. And so the Exam Jam, just like some of the other benefits we do, like Radioactive, the Exam Jam was set up to specifically make more money for the station with the thought of building a couple new computers, one for the production room, one for the music department. For digital downloads, a lot of these artists are digitally downloading their music rather than putting them on CDs. And if we have an 8-year-old computer, it's a little difficult to do that.
So they talked with a bunch of local artists and asked them to perform. We
started, I guess, a couple months ago, a couple months out, and really it requires more time than that. But we put in, we started it, okay, what are we going to call it? Who are we going to have play? Well, first, before we call it anything, let's see what sort of lineup we can get. And so getting in touch with all the bands or their promotions people or whatever, to find out what their schedules were like. We wanted it to be something that, again, encompass local music, and so on and so forth. And so we had a lineup of all local artists and DJs, bands and DJs. And so once we got that set up, it was a matter of, okay, what are we going to call it? We have a date. Now we have to start promoting it on air and coming up with liners, on-air liners and spots and so on and so forth, getting other, businesses or the venue, and then it's a matter of, okay, well, what can you do for us as far as holding the venue, keeping costs down and so on and so forth.
The event was a success for WUTK.
We did end up making $1,500, and we had some t-shirt sales in there as well. Got a friend of mine to donate the t-shirts and the printing of those or whatever to the event, so that was cool. And I think maybe 300 and some odd people was our final count.
There was a lot of diversity in the lineup. There was everything from The Idle Hand, which is a hardcore metal group, to Americana from Big Country's Empty Bottle.
The peaches and their sinners, and both gotta walk the line. One is lost, the other has a cross, and they both hope it shines. Oh, they both hope it shines.
From the hip-hop/R&B of After Party to the good old-fashioned rock and roll of Faux Ferocious.
Don't write me off now. Oh, 'cause baby, I love you.
And finally, there were a few different forms of electronic music from Arpeggio, Groove Troupe, and Jazz. In the end, the benefit raised over $1,500, and more than 300 people attended the show. WUTK plans to host another benefit concert sometime in the future.
Definitely. Because at the end of the day, it's still about the music, to a certain degree. It's like, okay, yes, this is what we want to do.